Okay, is it? I think it's probably past 9. Yeah, it is. Okay. Awesome. Well, welcome to we kind of do these nutrition calls every other week, and any clients and coaches and whoever is, we want you guys to pop on so we can really support you in your nutrition. Am I lagging a little bit, Stacy, or am I okay? I'm okay? Okay, perfect. So why we do this is, as much as we are a fitness company and we love our workouts, we often miss that nutrition piece. And one of the things that I love about our platform is there is a ton of nutritional resources. You have 3 different programs to choose from. One is called Portion Fix by Autumn Calabrese. The other is by Alana Molstead, and it's To Be Mindset. So Portion Fix is more of a macro-based sort of nutrition plan, but still with a lot of flexibility. To Be Mindset is more intuitive, mindful eating. And now we have Gut Protocol, which I know I'm sure some of you have actually been doing Gut Protocol. And that is really not necessarily a nutrition plan. It's more of a 4-week protocol that you're going in and discovering things about yourself. You're healing your gut. And then most of the time, people are going to move on to one of those other 2 plans for more of a lifestyle base. So we have all of these resources, but sometimes it can get fuzzy and messy and complicated and confusing, just because there's so much to go through. So we like to have these nutrition calls so we can kind of answer your questions if you have specific questions, but also give you tips. So I think before I'm going to call on Stacy, who's going to just share some really amazing tips about handling your nutrition through the summer, which we know is just busy. And I don't know, for me, there's snacks and drinks pretty much everywhere in the summertime. So she's going to give us some hacks about that. But first, I'm actually going to share my screen because I want you guys to see where some really incredible monthly updated resources for nutrition come, so you can actually see them in your Beachbody On Demand, so you're not missing them. So I'm going to share my screen really quickly, and I hope the website is up. Let's see if I was organized this morning. Here we are. Okay, so when you first sign up with us, most of you would have started with a Total Solution Pack. And when you have a Total Solution Pack, one of the bonuses of that is you get a 30-day free trial of our sort of exclusive platform inside of Beachbody On Demand. And it is called Body, so Body Interactive. So if you still have your 30-day trial, you will be able to see this when you log into your Beachbody On Demand or you go to your Beachbody On Demand app. So you're going to click that Body. If you're on your desktop, this is where it is. If you're on your phone in the app, it's actually down below. It's sort of like an L symbol. So you're going to click that. And of course, this is where all of our extra live workouts are. Our cycling, we have a whole bunch of different trainers that you've maybe never met before. There's yoga, flexibility, meditations, a bunch of really cool stuff when it comes to fitness. But what I don't want you to miss is when you scroll down, you have body nutrition programs. And they are sort of an accelerated version of the normal program you get inside of Beachbody On Demand. So basically, it's like a VIP version where every single month new recipes are coming out. But there's a ton of resources as well. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys see this, and I'm going to give you just a little glimpse of what is here for you guys to sort of investigate if you still have your access to Body. So every month there's new recipes that they come out with. So To Be Mindset came out with carrot fries. If I had to guess, they're in the air fryer. Yep. A ketchup. There's meal plans, but there's also just a bunch of like resources to help you really stay successful during the time of year. So this is a healthy host guide. So this is maybe if you were going to have like a summer party, lots of really cool stuff. You've got meal plans, 30-day meal plans. If we have any people that just had babies, we've got the breastfeeding meal plan, just tons and tons and tons of recipes. You can never, ever get bored. So that is the To Be mindset. And there's also some really cool stuff in the Portion Fix. So again, you have 2 plans to sort of pull from and decide which one's the best for you. Or to be honest, I use recipes from all of them. I'm just constantly looking in here and looking at what's going on. So here's the monthly newsletter and resources. So this is new for the month of June. So actually Autumn is talking a lot about her summer and how do you stay summer strong. There's also a bunch of really cool different things in here when you start investigating. So a fix for everything. There's a meal planner, tally sheet, vegan tally sheet. We've got some 30-day challenges. There's a calendar, clarity and action sheet. There's just like so much stuff. Actually, I love this stuff down here. There's a 30 plant-based foods tracker, vitamin D boosting fixate recipes. The nutritional checklist. I was in here today because that's something I'm so obsessed with. Like, how do we look at ingredients and how do we look at our labels on our food? And this gives a whole breakdown. So there's just a ton of resources for you guys in there. So again, it is in the body and it is, you want to click body, but you want to scroll down to the very bottom. So you're seeing these nutrition plans, and I would just take a few minutes and kind of investigate them because there is like a ton of really cool stuff there. Okay. Was there any questions about that? Okay, no problem. All right, Stacy, I'm going to mute myself and I'm going to let you take over.
Hello, good morning. Happy Saturday. Honestly, Michelle was asking us, what we'd like to learn more about during our nutrition calls. And I opened my mouth and I was like, well, what about like summer barbecues and parties and how to stay on track? And she goes, all right, good job, Stacy. Talk on Saturday. So I got, as I had said to my husband, I kind of got voluntold, which is totally fine because I love nutrition. This is like right up my alley. So I am a Beachbody coach, but I actually am a personal trainer and I have my degree in sports and exercise nutrition. So like this is my jam. So what I'm going to tell you this morning, honestly, it's not going to be anything new that you haven't heard before. But I think what's missing a lot from our nutrition is the mindfulness piece and thinking about our goals and thinking about how food is actually going to make us feel. So if you guys are doing the 4-week gut protocol, or if you're just starting your journey and you're just starting to eat cleaner, right away, you're going to notice that you're feeling better. Your energy's up, maybe your bloating's gone down, you've lost some water weight. And so you're feeling really, really good. When you start feeling really good and you go back and maybe you sit on the couch with some potato chips and a glass of wine, the next day, you don't feel so hot. And so I really try to dial into that feeling with my clients when I'm working with them, because I really want them to realize that how we feel is so much more important than the number on the scale, or maybe like how much weight we can lift in a workout. So really dialing into how we feel. And so I take that with me when I go to barbecues and when I'm going to family outings. And even this morning, my family and I, we went out for breakfast and I looked at the menu and I was like, okay, so I know what I would love to eat, but really, how is that going to make me feel? And so then I dialed back and I was able to pick an option that I know that would make me feel really good and start my day with. So a couple tricks and tips when you're going to barbecues or parties, always bring something. Even if the host or hostess says, don't worry about it, we got it covered, make something to eat that you would enjoy eating. So for me, I love using my chickpea pasta, and I make a big, huge pasta salad, and it's so good. People don't know it's healthy. And then I can have, whatever protein that is on the barbecue, and I can have some of my pasta salad, and I'll fill in the rest of my plate with some veggies. So always bring something that you can eat that you enjoy. Don't bring a salad if you are not going to like eating a salad. Bring something healthy that, is going to be enjoyed by everybody, and especially you. Don't let other people push you around. People are going to say, oh, well, you're eating that, or you're doing this, or, oh, you're not drinking. don't let people push you around, because oftentimes it's just a reflection of how they are really feeling. They're not feeling totally comfortable with themselves and confident with themselves and their choices. And they're just trying to make themselves feel a little bit better by trying to get you to be on the same level as them. So a lot of times when I go out and people are like, have a glass of wine, I'm like, no, no, thanks. I'm okay. And people say, well, why? Why aren't you drinking? Because it doesn't make me feel good. And I always go back to that feeling. And I explain to them, I can drink. It's not like I can't. Don't tell yourself can't, because then you're going to want it even more. Just go back to that feeling. I don't drink because it doesn't make me feel good. It makes me feel really yucky the next day, and I have no control over my food and I eat all the things. It doesn't make me feel good. So always go back to that feeling. So going away, bring something you can eat. Use the portion fix or the 2B mindset that Michelle was just showing us. There were so many amazing things on there. Quinoa salads, pasta salads, like regular salads. There's even some cocktails. Like if you do want to have some alcohol, you can make some healthier cocktail options. Always try to eat your veggies in the beginning of the day, because a lot of times when you go to barbecues or family events, there's not going to be a ton of veggies. So fill up on your veggies, fill up on your healthy proteins in the beginning of the day, save your carbohydrates, save your healthy fats, save, those fun foods for your party or your barbecue. But yeah, like Michelle, feel free to pop in if you have any more suggestions, but just really going back to that feeling, like once you start working on yourself, on your nutrition, on your fitness journey, and you start to really feel good, it sucks waking up and feeling bloated and having a headache from the sugar and just not feeling good. And it really makes you appreciate like how good it feels to feel good. And so always go back to that feeling. So I'm going to be totally vulnerable here. I'm a mom of 3 little ones. So when they go down for a nap, I wander the kitchen and I think, well, I could have some chocolate chips, or, I could finish the leftover grilled cheese, or, oh yeah, I forgot my husband hid ice cream in the freezer. And I think about all the things I could eat, but then it always goes back to, I can eat that. I can, but how is it going to make me feel? And knowing that I'll feel disappointed in myself, knowing that I'll feel really yucky and I'll have a headache and it will make me cranky with my kids, like that is enough to stop me in my tracks and be like, okay, Stacey, you don't really need that food and it's not going to make you feel good. And then I try to go distract myself. So yeah, there's not really any tricks or tips that I have that you haven't heard before. Drink your water, eat your veggies, pick the best choices at your barbecues, but really ask yourself, how is it going to make you feel? And you know what? We're all humans. So if you get to that barbecue and you have those chips and you have that taco dip and you eat that burger on the bun and you're like, this is amazing, it's so good, then be okay with that. Be okay with that choice, because to you in that moment, it was worth it. And then move on. Wake up the next day, move on. Always move on. Your next meal, your next choice is healthy. And my husband, I love him. He's usually the one who kind of gives me like that, like shake when I need it. He says to me, if I've had an off meal or a snack, he says, Stacey, you have one flat tire. What are you going to do? Are you going to go slash all your other tires just because you had one flat tire? No, you had one bad meal. You had one choice that didn't make you feel good. So what are you going to do? You're going to keep going because you had one like off? No, like get right back on your next meal, your next snack, jump right back into how, makes you feel good. And that's what your coach is for. Your best friend is for, your mentor is for. If you're struggling, that's what we're here for. We're here to help you. We're here to walk you through it. It's not like anything we haven't been through ourselves. Just because we're coaches or trainers or, nutrition freaks doesn't mean that we're perfect. So reach out to us. We can help. We can, give you a little kick in the pants if you need it. We can give you some tips and tricks if you need it. But yeah, that's what our job is to help you stay on track. So ask yourself, how is this food going to make me feel? If it's worth it, enjoy it and move on. And if it's not worth it, then be comfortable with making the hard choice and knowing that you might get some slack, but just go back to how is it going to make me feel? So that's really my trick for summer's busyness, craziness, sweets, is just learning to eat the food that makes me feel good. So that's all I got, Michelle. It wasn't anything, it wasn't anything profound.
That's the thing about all of this. It's not profound. It's actually just going back to exactly that. In fact, oh my gosh, I've been at this for like 35 years, this whole like situation and keeping weight off and not eating the potato chips and So I do have a few kind of like tricks that helped me along the way. So when I was sort of deep into, I hate labeling things, but I would have labeled myself as an emotional eater. I was 100% like Stacy, roaming the kitchen. If I was happy, sad, excited, bored, like it didn't matter what emotion I was feeling, food was what I thought would fix everything. So when I really wanted to get past that, I found this somewhere, this tip, and it might help you guys. I got a jar and it was called the token jar. And I filled it with little like bingo chips. And so every single time I was going to go into the pantry, every single time I found myself in the kitchen, and this became habitual after I started making myself do it, I had to go get a token. So I literally had to walk over, get a token. And that signified to me that that token meant that I was spending something, like I was spending. What it really did was made me think about it. Do I really need this? How am I going to feel after I have this? Why am I doing this? Because a lot of times I didn't realize I was just bored. I didn't realize I was like super anxious because my husband had just said something to me, or I was worried, or I was excited and celebrating. Actually, that's still one of my worst ones. When I'm like celebrating, it's like, bring on the chips. Like, why can't we have chips too? Right. So I did this token thing, and I don't do it anymore because I have the habit now. When I find myself in the kitchen at a time when it's not mealtime, I now stop and ask myself, what is going on here? Like, why are you here? Are you actually hungry? So that's kind of like a spin-off of what Stacy said. It's not necessarily directly related to summer eating, but it could be. It's exactly what Stacy said. Like, how's this going to make me feel? And sometimes, guys, it's not necessarily how's it going to make me feel in my tummy. How's it going to make me feel up here? There are seasons in our life. You may be here because you are in a season that you need to get weight off. There is nothing wrong with that. Do not feel ashamed that that to be healthier, to be in a healthier body, you need to get some weight off. If that's the season you're in, calculate how much time you want to spend in this season that's going to be stricter, right? Your mindset says, I don't want to have the taco dip at the pool party tonight because I'm in this season. It's so important to me to get this weight off so I feel good. And then this season's going to last 4 weeks. So the August pool party, you're going to be able to have the taco dip because that's going to be a different season. The next 4 weeks is maybe a little bit of a maintenance. You lost 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, whatever amount of pounds that you wanted that you knew were going to make you healthier in this particular season. And then you have the next season that's just maintenance. How about I just work on my lifestyle and keeping this weight off? That's called a lifestyle versus a plan that you're only doing for a certain amount of time that will get you 10 pounds off, and then you'll just gain it back. If you can sort of figure out in the year, this is how I lost my 80 pounds. I did not lose 80 pounds in like a 4-month period. It was like years, because I looked at it as seasons. I would lose 10 pounds and then I would maintain that 10 pounds. And I celebrated that because actually maintaining the 10 pounds is harder than getting the 10 pounds off. And then the next season would come and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to like push again. I'm ready to get the next 10 pounds off. And then I would maintain that 20-pound loss to the point where here I am 80 pounds less. And let me tell you, it's still a season of me maintaining that big weight loss. Sometimes I have to do pushes again because I get 5, 6 extra pounds on. And I'm like, okay, it's time for me to go in and like just be a little bit more mindful of what I'm doing. So it's really mindset. I hope like what you're getting from this is all the tools, the recipes, the portions, like all that stuff is in Beachbody. It's in your Beachbody On Demand library. You do not need one more thing from us. Like, oh my gosh, there's so much in there. What you need from your coach and your community that you're working with is the support and the mindfulness that we will help you with. And if you're finding yourself at a pool party and struggling, go into your challenge group, go into your message pod and say, oh my gosh, you guys, like there's so much stuff. I'm struggling. That's where someone will be there. Someone will see the message and they'll say, well, make the choice, Sarah. Like, is it going to feel good or not? Like, it's not right or wrong. There's never any right or wrong. There's not bad or good. It's just like, exactly what Stacy said in the beginning. How's it going to make you feel your body, but also how's it going to make you feel mentally? So I hope that was helpful. Oh, we got some chat going on here. If anybody has like particular specific questions about anything like 2B mindset, gut protocol, please put them in the chat and we'll make sure that we're helping you. I know some people are just starting these programs and you might have questions because it's a lot sometimes to kind of navigate. Emotional eating for me after kids go to bed, comfort snack to wind down. Rhonda, you are not alone.
No, I read that too, Rhonda, and that was my like every night was a glass of wine and some sort of snack for months. And then yeah, I went to my doctor thinking I needed help with something, like something was off. It wasn't myself. And he handed me antidepressants. But I wasn't necessarily clinically depressed. And that's when I went to my naturopathic doctor and they, she told me my gut health was off, right? Like my gut health was off. That's why I was struggling with cravings. I was struggling with my mood. I was struggling with everything because of my gut health. And so that really led me into like a whole nother story, but, give yourself grace and be patient with yourself because some of the bad habits that we've picked up with our nutrition has literally been survival habits because of what we've just walked through for the last couple of years, right? Like, so those habits and those mindsets that we adopted for the last couple of years, they were survival, but now we're coming out and it's time to change and to move forward. Give yourself grace because you're not going to be able to break habits in 7 days. And sometimes there's more going on than just eating the food. Like maybe you have really high sugar cravings because you're low in magnesium. Maybe you are bloated and irritable and cranky all the time because your gut health's off. So give yourself grace because it's not always just needing more willpower or just needing to be better or just needing to exercise harder. Really get curious about what's going on inside mentally and physically.
Totally. Sometimes less is actually what you need, not more. Sorry, Shannon, go ahead.
No, that's okay. I just wanted to tag on, like, Stacy, thank you so much for leading the call and also just for being vulnerable, because so much of what you're saying like resonates exactly to my motherhood journey in terms of like health and fitness. Like before kids, I was really healthy and I played on sports teams and I like did all kinds of things. And then, you kind of take these pauses, and my kids are 10 plus. I took a big pause and it took me a while. And I went back to fitness first because that was a comfortable place for me. Like I knew that would help me in many ways. And it took me 3 years of working out before I really dug into the nutrition side of Beachbody. So I just want to throw respect to that, right? Like I want to remind people that it takes a long time to do both pieces for a lot of people. So if you feel like you love Portion Fix or you love gut health or you're loving this journey and you haven't been perfect on maybe the workout side, or maybe you haven't even really started, just like give yourself grace to become comfortable and strong in one area sometimes. Because for me, like I'm still learning so much on the nutrition side. And I beat myself up when I mess up because I want to be good and I want to like nail it and I want to feel good. And then I remind myself, okay, it took me 3 years of working out to lose 8 pounds and feel like strong, like to get to the end of a workout. So it's going to take me some time to be like equal in the nutrition area. So just, yeah, reminding yourself that it takes time and slips and stuff are okay, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. I love that. I mean, perfection in when we're talking about nutrition and fitness usually means restriction. And restriction doesn't get us anywhere. It does not create a lifestyle. And that's what you want, because a lifestyle is going to create health. And side note, I lost 80 pounds without exercising. I only walked. So the fitness part, I was opposite of Shannon. The fitness part is what really scared me. So I just dug into nutrition because it felt more comfortable. So she was exactly right. Just give yourself grace. Perfection is like not even a thing. Like, who knows what's perfect? Who decides what perfect? It's ridiculous. It's not a thing. So there's guidelines, right? The containers are guidelines. The containers are, let's take gut protocol, for example. The containers are sharing with you base minimum of what you need to eat to heal your gut. But I mean, if you miss a green and a red, like, don't worry about it. Like, don't lose sleep over it. You get tomorrow to try even better, right? So you just have to go in with that mindset that you're changing patterns and habits that have been around for a long time. I still, to this day, every night think about my yogurt bowl that I had for years. I sat in bed and ate my yogurt bowl with peanut butter and went to sleep. Now I'm educated enough to realize eating right before I go to bed is not going to do me any favors. I'm not going to feel good in the morning, but it's gut health. It's not going to be a good decision. There's so many reasons why it's not a good choice for me. So now that's what pops into my mind and pushes past the desire to have it. Now I'm just like, don't worry about it. You can have it tomorrow morning. It doesn't mean that I don't still like, oh, I did really love that. I did love to do that. Or having my wine every Friday night with a bowl of chips. I'd still think about that, but it's not going to make me feel good tomorrow, the next morning when I have to lead a call. So it's like back to what Stacy shared originally. If you can keep remembering that question, how is that going to make me feel? Get really curious with yourself. You often make the best choices. Okay, you guys, this was so good. I don't see any like questions. So many comments. Mel Robbins is amazing. Magnesium, people are loving that. Yeah, this was so good. Thank you, Stacy. You always give the best. She does not give herself enough credit. We go to her for lots because she's our like informed person around here. So we appreciate you sharing, Stacy. And we appreciate all of you coming today. This was amazing. We love leading these calls and being able to support you.
Oh, sorry, Michelle, I didn't mean to interrupt. I thought there was a question about a shake and zucchini in your shake.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Jenny's just saying zucchini in your shake changes, like it's changed my shake. I love it. Zucchini and cauliflower is like my go-tos in my shake.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good, Shannon. I've had that before too. Everyone thinks I'm crazy. Actually, I'll end with this. My cousins, they finally joined me. So I have been talking about this stuff for 8 years and they finally decided to do it with me for just this last month. And they were not complaining about the shakes, but the shakes were making them so full. And I was like, well, what are you putting in there? And they were putting like a full banana and fruit. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, of course you're full if you're putting that much in there. Said, why don't you change and put either riced cauliflower or zucchini? And they're like, you have taken this too far. You are so weird. We are not doing that. We're not doing that. You're such a weirdo. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, I'm weird. That's fine. And then the other day, my cousin texted me and she's like, riced cauliflower in your shake. Who knew? And she absolutely loved it because it makes it so creamy. And that's what zucchini does as well. So I know it seems weird, but you will not taste it. But what happens is it just like makes it creamy. you hide some vegetables in there. Like, who doesn't want to hide some vegetables? We want as many fibrous vegetables in our diet as we can. And for me, I only put a few berries, like half a purple container maybe, or a full purple container, and that's all I taste. So it really is a good trick, especially if you're on gut protocol. I know that's like a heavy dose of veggies for some people. So hiding them in your shake really does work. Even from my picky cousins, I finally converted them, so you can convert too. And riced cauliflower is so easy because you can buy it riced now if you don't want to take the pain of getting your food processor out. But anyways, this was so good, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on a Saturday morning. Thank you again, Stacy and Shannon and everyone who shared, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.